I feel that a problem solver will always play an important and a pivotal role when it comes to a collaborative activity. A problem solver generally is a very proactive person because he or she is always thinking about it, has that understanding of that particular root, can go into the root cause of the problem, and can easily associate others or bring others to consider a wide range of solutions before actually deciding what they want to how they want to go ahead with, or what sort of what step they should take it forward. So I feel that's what problem solving is all about.
Welcome to the Learning Circle, the ultimate video podcast for educators and parents who want to unleash the full potential of children. Join us as we explore the fascinating world of learning with the help of thought leaders who will share their knowledge and stories with us. This is your host Kavleen Kaur, and I'm excited to take you on this journey. Get ready to be inspired, informed, and entertained. So, moving on to the next question. We have discussed the importance of problem solving skills. We have discussed a lot of examples and anecdotes where these skills are important. But still, there is a lot of opposition in focusing on developing these skills in the students. There are some schools of thought that numeracy skills are important, literacy skills are important, and there is so less time to complete the curriculum that we should not waste time in teaching these problem solving skills. Another school of thought is that these skills are very difficult to assess, so how can we measure the effectiveness of these skills? So given all these oppositions, a lot of times these skills are not given adequate focus in schools. So what are your thoughts on this, and how can we overcome should we overcome such oppositions, and how we can do that?
I think it's a very valued question that you've asked in this entire episode. I think this will be the icing in the cake. Why I say this? Because I feel this is a misnomer that we have in our society, or in our education division, or people who are into this. This is a misunderstanding that we have, especially the stakeholders who are there associated. Let me just tell you, there are 2-3 things which I put them into the category of misnomer. The first is, we feel that problem solving is only with mathematics and science, which actually is not, right? That also includes these skills that we are talking about, whether it is critical thinking, creative thinking, the problem solving skills, or in that case, the other aspects also we are talking about, the thinking skills we talk about, which is, the knowing, the understanding, the applying, the analyzing aspect, comparing and contrast, that evaluation aspect, how do we evaluate or how do we create something new. All these skills that we talk about, it is there associated with every subject, but how do you connect them is very important. How do you think about it is very important. Like, for example, if I say history, now when I'm teaching history as a history teacher, it's a story. It's a story that I'm trying to do. But where do I connect them when do I connect the stories to make them think about it? Like, let me give you an example. Like, for example, if I say Mughal Empire. In Mughal Empire, we start with Babur. Of course, before that, Genghis Khan and all that was there. But actually, Babur is the main person who actually began with that. Then Humayun and Akbar. Babur and Akbar, they were very popular Mughal emperors. Akbar's time, that was the highest peak that Mughal Empire has actually gone in. The most flourishing period of time, you can say, like, according to me. So can we compare? Like, suppose if you were Akbar at that point of time, what would you do? How would you decide on it? Or think about Humayun. Humayun, who was thrown out of his throne and he had to move around in in jungles. If you would have been Humayun, how did you manage? How you would have managed to take your empire further? What I'm saying is, this sort of thinking will actually help them to critically analyze the situation at that point of time, connecting that time with today's time, and keeping the same understanding with my own perception, and then finally creating something new and say that, okay, if I would have been Akbar, this is what I would have done. I hope I'm making sense.
Yes.
What I'm trying to tell you, right? Yes. Similarly, now if I say we study about the contour of our country, like we have these chapters in 9th standard, if I'm not mistaken, geography, call it as the drainage system of our country, like the rivers. Now these rivers have a tendency to move. So we know that water moves from upper level to the lower level, right? So if that is the case, then that means Ganga is starting from the Himalayas, and it goes down all the way to the north and comes down to east and gets into Bangladesh and flows out in the Bay of Bengal, right? Along with when we are looking at the Ganga, we have the tributaries which are contributing in Ganga, right, or getting into it. So it is the Yamuna, Gomti, Ghagra, Gandak, Kosi. They are all from the Himalayan belt for coming. But the ones which are below also, they are like from the central India also going. Okay, like Son, Chambal, Betwa, they are also going from central India. So that means the contour of that particular land is tilted to that extent where it actually moves to Ganga. Now, can't we tell the students that what would have happened if our Indian contour would have had a tilt towards south? That means instead of Ganga going towards east, it would have gone down. Beach mein you can say Aravalli is coming, but suppose there is a U-turn from Aravalli, a detour from Aravalli.
Yeah.
He would have come to meet in somewhere in Chennai. What would have happened? What would have happened to our agricultural system? The entire scene would have changed. And with facts and figures, can't the students think that today this would have happened today? Like we have this, we see in our country, we have rain-fed rivers and the snow-fed rivers, right? The rain-fed rivers, they are dependent on rains, so they are not. They dry up during the summer. So if Ganga is passing from there, what would have happened to those rivers? Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. Just imagine if they would have been connected to Ganga. Then what would have happened? Let the students think about it.
Yeah.
Are we not doing thinking skills with them?
Yes.
Right? Informing facts and figures is correct. But beyond that is also very important. I have this understanding. Like, look at this. Questions. When we talk about inquiry, right? Questions. So we have these question words. What are these question words? What, when, where, how, why. Okay, what, when, where, why. Am I missing anything? Where, why, and how.
And how. Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
Now, you look at this. What, when, and where are just information providers. What happened? Suppose you tell me that, there was a big chaos in that place. So I'll ask you what happened. So what will you just recall? What had happened?
Those are facts.
Okay. Facts and figures you inform. When, where, all these are facts. But why and how is very important.
Yes.
Where you are analyzing associated. Right? So what I'm trying to say is, why can't we attach these two in our own subjects, irrespective of the fact that whichever subject we are. If you talk about grammar, if you talk about literature, we can also do that. Like suppose if you are doing a poem, right? Writes about William Wordsworth. He's one of my favorite poets. Like Solitary Reaper. Talks about a lady who is at the highland grassland. She's cutting and she's singing a tune and she's cutting the grass. Right? And the poet passes by and he's just trying to guess that what sort of tune is it? It's a melancholy tune. Like she might be sad. So he's guessing. Correct. Now just imagine if you would have been a poet and you just imagine you were crossing by that lady. What was your thought? And why would you think in that ways? So what I'm trying to say is, somewhere you are trying to bring in the critical thinking association also. And they are creating it, Yeah. So it's not that it is only the forte for maths teachers and science teachers.
Right.
So it should be connected to all the subjects, provided we associate it. And that is what NEP 2020 is also talking about.
Yes.
Right. And another thing, today we are talking about these skills and we are making it we are bringing it in prominence, and we say that it not earlier we did not study, it was not there, all of it was not there. Do you really think it was not there? Of course it was there. Yeah, I will go back to the example which Dr. Kalam was talking about.
Yes.
Mr. Subramaniam took them to the to the shores of Rameshwaram. Why? No, he wanted to that sense of inquiry to develop in their kids. So what he has taught them in that blackboard, he wanted them to see it actually happening, live, happening live. So that was in 1950s and all that. Didn't that happen at that point of time? Yes, we did not compartmentalize them into this, into say skill association or that, right? As students also, if you see, our teachers have also promoted that, but they might have not used those words.
Right.
But they definitely had those questions to ask us. They definitely saw that the sense of inquiry develops in kids, right? So that is, of course, is there. So that is my take in this factor, and I personally feel that is absolute a misconception. Problem solving was always there, and right from time eternity, if you see, look at it, the Vedic studies period also, problem solving was there in a very good way. They had this more of an experiential learning.
Right.
Of course, when the British came in and they tried to standardize studies, standardize education for their own benefit, that's a separate story altogether. But in classroom, definitely we tried to bring in. Okay, and today we are trying to bring that as a format into our education system where we can make them realize. Like, for example, if I say as a maths teacher, if I say the most common, one of the most common is, the skills that we actually do is the manipulative skills, right? We use them in entirely right from standard 3 to standard 12 or whatever. We use these manipulative skills more in the middle section. So were we not learning that earlier? We were. Right now, suppose if I want to, I'm talking about, if I say about algebra where we are trying to find out x, are we not manipulating and trying to find out the values? We did that at that point of time. We are doing it now, but we are calling it as a manipulative skill, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that all of that was earlier there also, but yes, because of the factors to make it, it's very important for me to know that I know that I know. And making me realize that yes, is what confidence building is all about. Right. And if you look at it today's, of course, in today's day and time, we have moved, NEPs put it in a big way. CBSE is doing it, skill-based programs. Now, Ministry of Education has brought in in the innovation cell, they are doing this design thinking program in all school level. Like 6th standard to 12th standard, they are doing this design thinking program. Design thinking is the best tool that we can use as far as problem solving is concerned.
Right.
And now we are applying it in our classroom. Why can't we take that particular section of that particular design, process of design thinking that we want to learn in our classroom and apply it in our own subject? Isn't it? Then only what will happen? Applications will happen. Then only we will be able to understand that, okay, I've studied this. How do I apply it in a different situation? Yeah. If I learn to do that, then only I will be able to apply it in my own life. As you have also said, and I've been telling it, that we don't have a syllabi for the problems that we have in life, right? Yeah. But we can prepare ourselves for that. Right. So that's what. So I have a feeling that it's a misnomer that it's going to be a waste of time, or it's part of life. And if we are saying that we are preparing students for life, then problem solving abilities should be developed in kids.
Right. So the examples you shared are very wonderful thought exercises to be done with students to help them expand their thinking. So rather than just focusing on gaining the facts, the whys and the what and where, we should also focus on why and how, so that the thinking skills are enhanced. And another takeaway that I have from what you shared is that there should not be any impediments to developing these skills. We should not look at these skills as individual skills in buckets, but rather build it into the subjects. Each of the subjects Absolutely. That we are teaching can be integrated with these skills. So that will lead to more holistic learning, and we don't really have to spend additional time and effort in developing these skills. It can be Absolutely. Done in an integrated way.
Mhm.
Right. So thanks for sharing
Very true.
your valuable insights on that, sir.